Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather and today we're going to be doing a video where I read super popular books that I should have read a long time ago that I am just now getting around to. So here are some books. I got some books from the library. I have the audiobooks for all of these. First book is Gone Girl. I have watched the movie, loved the movie, heard really good things about this book, just haven't, read it. I did read not Dark Objects, sorry. Sharp Objects earlier on in the year. I enjoyed it. Then I have The Martian by Andy Weir, and I've heard such good things about this book. Sometimes sci-fi and me do not get along, but everybody raves about this book, so I want to see what all the hype is about. I also have Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, and I've heard that this is a heartbreaking story, kind of like a murder mystery, small town, that kind of vibe. And then I also was able to get the ebook of Beach Read by Emily Henry, and this is one of the books by Emily Henry that I know everybody freaking loves. I just haven't read it yet, so we're gonna see if it's really good. So that's what this video is gonna be about, me reading. Well, those are backwards. Me reading these and Emily Henry. And we'll see how good they are. I'll make that determination if they are as good as they're supposed to be, because my opinion, I'm not being serious. I'll let you know which book I read first. So I am about 100 pages out from being done with Where the Crawdads Sing. And it's not... I can feel the emotion, and I understand why so many people love this book, but I have issues with overall the writing in here. It's overly flowery to me, and this poor girl Kaya, she is going through it. Her family, she has nobody left in her family, and she's been on her own from the time she was 14 years old. And the town knows that she's been on her own for that long, but because she is considered swamp trash, they don't care how she lives. I don't know. Her family, her mom left, her dad left, her siblings left, and she's just been all on her own, which I find commendable because she is able to survive, and she's able to figure out ways of, how to get through it and live off of the land, live by herself for so long. She's just very lonely, and this book is very emotional in that way, and you can feel the loneliness throughout this book and feel all the emotions that she's feeling. She's scared to get close with anybody, but she also knows that she needs to be reserved in that way too, because the townspeople don't like her. And this poor girl, she's just set up for failure in many ways. And I typically do not read books like this because I don't like to be depressed through an entire book. I don't like that, and that's what I have been feeling throughout this book. I haven't really connected with Kaya at all. I've just been reading about her life. This is really reminding me of Where the Red Fern Grows in a weird way. Just I don't know why, but it's really making me think of that book, which I absolutely love. Where the Red Fern Grows. It is a very emotional book, and it was one of the first books that I actually taught when I was teaching middle school. But I don't know, there's just something about this book that I cannot wrap my head around. Is it romance? Is it, I know it's a coming of age story, so she's learning the way through teenagehood and all that kind of stuff. But there's romance in here, coming of age, murder mystery, and it's very disjointed in that way. There's also a lot about the land and the swampland and stuff like that. I'm not very familiar with the Carolinas that way, like the marshes and everything like that, so I can't really speak on that part. But you can tell that this author knows a lot about nature and a lot about a lot, and it's kind of coming across pretentious in a way for me. Like, I know more than you, and Kaya being illiterate for a really long time, and it's great that she learns how to read, she learns how to write and everything like that, but I don't know, there's just something that I can't, like, put my foot, I can't get my foot up the hat, but there's something I can't put my foot on, like, or my finger on, whatever that saying is. I don't know. I kind of wanted this book to be more murder mystery than anything. When I hear about mystery or, like, you know, murder mysteries or anything, I want it to be about the investigation. I typically don't like it when we're learning about a character's entire life. I think that this book, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not even done with it, but now we're at the murder investigation of everything and, like, the trial, and I think that if we didn't have all of the backstory, like, of everything that went on in Kaya's life, knowing that her life was not, sorry if you can hear, like, everything in the background, it's nighttime, but anyways, if we didn't have from the very beginning up until now, and we focused more on the murder mystery trial part of this, I think this book would have been, in my opinion, better for me, at least, because it's kind of separate. We know that a murder happened, or like a death happened, but then we get her whole life story and everything like that, and we're supposed to, like, really connect with her and everything and feel sorry for her, which I do, but I want more of the murder investigation of it, and that's just me. But I can see why a lot of people really like this. So, and me being a person who's not very big on literary work anyways, yeah. I am in the car line picking up my baby. Sorry if my head's cut off, but I wanted to fill you in and let you know that I ended up finishing Where the Crawdads Sing, and I'm giving it a 1.5. I hated the ending of this book. I was gonna give it a 2 up until, like, the 88% mark of this book, and then I was like, oh my god, this book was not for me. The characters at the end to me were insufferable. All of the men in this book were insufferable to me. I hated that the author just did every bad thing imaginable to Kaya, and I don't think it was for a purpose, honestly. I think it was just to give her everything bad in life. And even though there were some really sweet scenes in here, there were some really empowering scenes in here, I don't know. This book just wasn't for me. It irritated me so much, and I don't know. I understand why there are people that like this book, and why this book does have such high ratings, but I think it's for the literary people, you know, and not the people who read a lot of mystery thrillers. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain. And for me, at least, I read a lot of mystery thriller books that aren't considered literary, and the mystery behind this was just a murder, and the investigation behind this murder was very lackluster to me. The cops were horrible, like horrible, and they just chose Kaya because, you know, she's the swamp girl, and she's trash and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. And then the ending happened, and I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't like this book. I don't know if my thoughts are very coherent at the moment, but overall, meh. It was a meh book for me. No hate to people who love this book. Like I said, I can understand why, but to me, no. I'm okay. Nah. Now I'm reading Gone Girl. I've seen this movie. I loved this movie. I thought that it was excellent. Okay, I haven't watched it in a while, but when I first watched this movie, I was like, dang, this movie is good. And I just started listening to this. I'm only 23 minutes in, but I'm listening to it on 2x speed, so I've only been listening to it for like, 10 minutes, but it's already following the movie pretty well from what I remember. And the narrator who is reading Amy, I really like her narration. I don't remember her name at the moment, but she has narrated other books that I have really, really loved too. So I'm excited to get into this and read it and see what all the fuss is about. But I think I'm gonna like this one just because, remembering correctly, the movie was, like I said, it was fantastic. So hopefully the book is just as good, if not better. But we'll see. I'm tired today. I woke up sleepy. An
old pillow, her skinny legs dangling in the water, watching the river flow over fish-white feet, so intently, utterly self-possessed, even as a child. Go's voice was warm and crinkly even as she gave this cold news.
Excuse the way I look. I'm about to wash my hair. But wanted to fill you in and let you know that I am halfway through Gone Girl. And this book is freaking insane. Okay? I knew it was going to be, but I am liking it a lot more than I thought that I was going to. And I have been laughing. I know what's coming, okay? I know it's coming. But reading it from the book's perspective, I'm getting so much backstory and more information than obviously the movie gives. But Amy is so calculated. Nick, I don't like him. I'm not a Nick fan. But Amy is just like so calculated in everything that she does, and it is cracking me up because, like, if Amy loves you, she is your girl. But if you do something wrong to her, she's gonna do everything in her power to make your life a living hell. And Nick, being who he is and trying to be a different person for her at the start of their relationship and everything, and then slowly she's starting to realize like who he actually is. It's just making me laugh because that's an issue in a lot of relationships. But this book is also really deep into, you have to communicate in relationships. You have to be open in relationships. You need to be yourself in relationships, and marriage is hard. Marriage is not easy. If you're in a relationship, or if you're married, or if you've ever been in a relationship, whatever, you know that if you don't communicate with your partner or your husband or wife or your significant other, it's really hard to maintain that relationship. And that's what this book is about. You just see like the decay, I guess, of their relationship. And it started out so passionate and so heated, and then once they got used to each other, they've noticed like little things about each other that they can't stand. And Nick does something that is awful in any relationship. Nobody deserves what Nick has done to Amy, even though Amy was not communicative with him and telling him, like, I don't like it when you do this. When you miss anniversaries to go out and hang out with your friends, I don't like that. She was trying to be the cool wife. She was trying to be the wife that didn't, that didn't cause issues in the relationship. And communication's key. You gotta tell each other what you don't like and what pisses you off and all that. And knowing what's about to come, it makes me giddy. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm enjoying this book. And I think it's gonna be pretty highly rated, but yeah. I just wanted to fill you in and let you know. Sorry, I've been holding my hair up the entire time. It's dirty and I don't feel like letting it down so you can see it. But I'm gonna continue reading / listening to this today while I do things, and I will let you know my final thoughts when I'm done. Y'all, whoever said working out is fun lied. Oh my God, lied. I hurt so bad. Anyways, wanted to fill you in and let you know that I am halfway through The Martian. I am thoroughly enjoying myself. The humor in this book is my kind of humor. It's Mark, is that his name? Yes. Mark is taking what was thrown at him in stride, and I appreciate that. Honestly, he's like a little breath of fresh air. And even though he's put in these horrible situations, since he is the only person on Mars right now and he has to figure out ways to survive and everything like that, he just uses humor. And I understand that, because in bad situations I use humor a lot, and I try to make myself laugh, because if I don't laugh I will cry, you know. And I appreciate that about him. But some of the science stuff is kind of going over my head, but I am enjoying seeing Mark go through these situations that he's in and figuring out a way to just survive. And the stakes are very, very high right now, because again, he is running out of food. He is trying to be, he is a scientist. He's a botanist, so he knows how to grow food and all that kind of stuff, but mechanical engineering and all of the other kinds of engineering is not his forte per se, but he is teaching himself. He knows enough to be able to survive, and knowing that he could be saved is like very high stakes, because again, he is running out of food. He's running out of ways to survive. And he's been on Mars for a little over 3 months by himself, and he knows that if he doesn't get food, or if he doesn't get saved by a certain time, he's just gonna die. And that is terrifying. First of all, being in space, terrifying. Being on a planet that is not habitable to humans, terrifying. Knowing that there is a possibility that you could just starve to death and waste away, and people knowing that you're there by yourself, terrifying. So this book, even though it does have humor in it and everything, it is scary. And this isn't even a horror book, but just seeing everything that's happening, I'm like, if you want to go to space, go for it. But me, nah, I'm good. I'm good here on Earth. Even though Earth is the way that it is, I am good, because the unknown of space and whatever else is out there freaks me out to no end. But yeah, is it written the best? No, but it is one of those books that it just kind of makes you appreciate what you have, you know. And I appreciate, like I said, Mark's way of looking at things and trying to just make the best out of his situation, because what else can he do? And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I can see why this book is so highly praised and so well loved. I don't know if it'll be a 5-star for me, but it's on up there. So yeah. Now that I think about it, I don't even think I told you what my rating of Gone Girl is and my final thoughts. Okay, I can't remember if I told you or not. So if you don't see this clip, then that means I already told you. If you see this clip, obviously I didn't tell you. So Gone Girl. I'm gonna give Gone Girl 4 stars. Gone Girl, I evil laughed.
What are you doing? Stop that.
The entire time in this book. And it's not funny. Like, this book is not funny, but just the way that Amy like nailed Nick to the wall and put him through all of those things that she put him through was hilarious to me in a way. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but it was funny. And even though Amy is not a good person whatsoever, Nick is not a good person whatsoever, these two are very, very unlikable. But y'all, the way that she handed it to him, I was like, you go girl. And I don't know, it was just funny to me. And all of the, like, if you're not a true crime person, but all of the true crime cases, like Sherry Papini or Papini or whatever her name is, she totally ripped off Gone Girl, okay? And this is giving, like, this book is a guide for all of these people who hate their spouse and want to put their spouse through some shit, okay? But yeah, it had me cackling, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was funny. It wasn't supposed to be funny, but it was funny to me. So, yep. I ended up finishing The Martian. I'm giving it 4 stars. Again, I thought that Mark was really funny. I liked that he just took everything with stride, and even though he was in a horrible position, he just made the best of it. I appreciated that about him. I also really liked the found family aspect that we have in here too, because his team of astronauts, even though they're not together at the moment, like, his team is mourning him because they believe that he's dead. And there's some reveals in here about his team that I really enjoyed, and I just thought that they were all really sweet, you know? I love a found family, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I do see the hype around it. I'm not giving it 5 stars just because some of the, like, I know this is science fiction obviously, but some of it went straight over my head, and the journey that he had to take to get to his final destination on Mars was rather boring to me. I kind of zoned out a little bit during those moments. It was relevant to the story obviously, but to me it was just kind of boring. So 4 stars, really enjoyed it. Can't wait to rewatch the movie because I know, I remember watching this, but I don't remember everything about it, and I just know that Matt Damon killed it. So we're gonna, yeah, finishing that. I am in the middle of reading Beach Read. Well, not in the middle. I'm about 12% into reading Beach Read. I am waiting for my library to give it to me on Libby. So hopefully I can get that soon, because I would, you know, audiobooks are life. And yeah, I would like to listen to that on audio. If I can't get it on audio in a reasonable amount of time, I'll just read it on my Kindle, because I do have it on my Kindle too. I'm here at the library to drop off these 2 books because Beach Read finally came available. So I'm gonna pick up the physical book. I have the audiobook, but I want the physical book instead of the ebook. For some reason I haven't really been wanting to read ebooks lately, so physical, oh, never mind. Beach Read hadn't come in yet. I thought that it did, but I did get 2 other books for future videos. So yeah, but yeah, whenever Beach Read comes in, I'll fill you in and let you know. It's only fitting that we are reading Beach Read at the beach. I saved it for this particular trip that we're on. It's a family trip that we're taking on Thanksgiving. We try to come to the beach on Thanksgiving because it's not so freaking hot outside. But yeah, it's only fitting that we are reading Beach Read, and I'm not, yeah, I already started Beach Read, and I'm a little over halfway through it. It's pretty decent so far. I had to get the, what's this thing called, mass paperback version for my library, but This is about January and Gus, and they are rivals. They're both writers, and January just found out that her dad had a secret life, and he left January the house that he lived with his mistress in his will after he passed away. So January is grieving. She's trying to come to terms with her dad having a second life and realizing that her dad wasn't this perfect knight in shining armor like she thought. And then we have Gus, who is going through his own thing, and Gus is going through some stuff, and he doesn't know how to deal with his feelings. So when they realize that they know each other, like that they've known each other previously, they come up with this pact to write each other's genres. January is a romance writer, and Gus is a literary fiction writer. They're both in a rut. January is on a very, very tight deadline to get her 5th book out, and Gus is just kind of like, I don't know what to write. So he decides, like, hey, why don't we write each other's genres and help each other out with like research and, you know, the compatible, like, help the camaraderie that comes with helping others, you know. So they're doing that, but they're also realizing that they might have feelings for each other. They're trying to help each other go through all their grief, and it's an okay story so far. I can see why this would be a lot of people's favorites. I don't know if it's going to be my favorite Emily Henry, because it is just kind of like me. It's not something new that I have read before, but it's not bad by any means. And I have about 100 pages left of this book. But yeah, it's not bad. I haven't really got the beach part of it. They're at, like, there's a beach nearby, but they haven't really done anything at the beach yet, so I'm hoping that kind of comes into play since it is called Beach Read. But other than that, it's a pretty okay story. So I'm hoping to finish it today, because today is our last day here. Want to see the beach again? Hold please. We're on the 15th floor. It's been very cold the past couple of days. Today isn't bad, it's just really windy. And I usually just sit up here on the balcony and watch the waves. There's my Lila girl sunning. Lila's April baby. She's enjoyed her time here too. She's gotten to sleep a lot. She's a pretty girl. ended up finishing Beach Read. I'm going to give it a 3.25. It wasn't my absolute favorite Emily Henry book. I was wanting more writing centric than all of the emotional stuff, but you know, Emily Henry, she writes emotional things, but the writing just kind of, like the characters writing just kind of fell to the back burner a little bit, and I wanted that more in the forefront. But August and January, they have a lot of things to work through. They're having a hard time working through them, and when they finally do communicate, because there was a lot of miscommunication in this book, when they finally do communicate with each other, they worked really well together, but it just took them a while to get there, and I felt that it took a little too long to get there. But overall, I wouldn't say this is not a bad story. It's just, again, not my favorite. But I do see why it is really popular. I think that if you're looking for emotional contemporary romance about rival writers and working through grief, not only losing somebody close, but also relationships ending and that kind of thing, I think that you would like this. Especially if you are more of a literary reader, I think you would really like this. But it's not horrible, but let's end this talking about which ones are my favorite. I'm sure you probably already know because of my ratings, but I do think that Gone Girl is popular for a very specific reason, because I really liked that book. It was just batshit crazy and I enjoyed it. I do like The Martian as well. It's scary but super funny, and I just really liked how he was able to overcome a lot of the obstacles that were in his way. And even though some of the science parts of it went over my head, I just thought that it was a very enjoyable book. This, again, we just talked about it. I can see why it's a lot of people's favorites, just not my favorite Emily Henry. But Where the Crawdads Sing, I don't understand it. I don't understand the hype behind that book, because there are many other mysteries that are out there that are a little bit better for me, or to me, and also coming of age stories. There are better ones out there, in my opinion. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below which books you want me to read that are super hyped, and to determine if they need to be hyped or not, because you know my opinions matter so much. But yeah, I enjoyed this video. I thought that it was fun. I'm gonna end you with the ocean. It's probably about to start raining here a little bit because it's gotten super cloudy. But if you like to hear the ocean as much as I do, I sat out here for a good hour and a half listening/reading to this book, eating my jambalaya, that is delicious by the way, and also finishing off my Starbucks, then you're in for a treat. But I'm going to end this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And again, please let me know in the comments which popular books you want me to read next. But yeah. Goodbye. Let's go look at the ocean. I think my little baby just woke up, so good timing. But let's go look at the ocean, and I will leave you to it. Dang, this has a good zoom on it. Look at that. That's my mama, my daddy, and my babies. I was wondering if I could see them. Look at that. How, oh, it only goes that much. Good to know.